inside.
The Timberwolves lead by 3. DiVincenzo with it. Coming off a 16-point game against the Rockets in Houston. McDaniels finds Highland. Back to Daniels. The 3, DiVincenzo. Rebound by San Antonio. On the wing, MP. McDaniels covering. A-Train, no good.
And even with the miss, that's a high percentage shot for him.
Puts it up from 15. And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half.
Your Timberwolves, 42, the Spurs, 39.
And in that first half, we saw a pretty tight battle. We'll soon find out what sort of adjustments were discussed during halftime. One of the stories here, Jaden McDaniels getting it done today.
Can they come up with an answer for him coming out of the half? They have to change something defensively.
Yeah, I'd love to see what they drew up in the locker room, because you're right. He's the problem right now.
Here's who Greg Popovich is starting the second half with. Sohan and Wemby are the bigs. Castle is out there with MP. And it's Vassell in at the 3, the small forward. And let's swing it over to the sideline and hear from Allie.
Thanks, guys. Well, A-Train in their last timeout against the Nets came through when they needed him to. He ended up with 9 points and chalked up a few assists along the way as well. A surprise effort from a guy who typically plays a smaller role. We'll see if he can keep building the momentum.
Okay, thanks for that. You know, the impact he had on that game was big.
And it's not easy to point to just one area he made a difference, but his effect was felt all over the place. He was on fire.
And the important thing now is to keep that momentum going. You want a player building on his positive results.
Grant, when you talk about consistency and officiating game to game, you think there's room for improvement?
You know, I do think so. I mean, they're allowing more contact, but overall, more clarity on what constitutes legal guarding position would help players and officials.
And the Timberwolves call time here. Stan, it feels like the hardest part of team building is getting a superstar. And a moment here to take a look at the scoring breakdown for the Timberwolves.
Well, they've been hitting threes at a high clip, and the defense hasn't done enough to challenge them at the line. They need to close out and run them off the 3.
And also, attacking in transition has been working for them. I mean, credit them for running the break well and being opportunistic.
Now here's MP. 7 points in the game. Basket counts. A-Train's got 9.